Hello, this is Kenneth Vance from Rooftop Videos. I put up a documentary about the 2300, 1290, 1335 days, and I've got a couple questions asked me, and I can understand that, so I'm going to answer that today, because what I wanted to bring out in the documentary is we have to know the starting point. That is where it's at. People are still arguing because of church doctrine of what the daily is. The word sacrifice, we have to get rid of that. That's church doctrine. The daily routine, it's the lockdowns. When the lockdowns came, it was for the first time ever worldwide. And I showed in my documentary on March 11th, 2020, it was the day. I have no lack of proof, so you know that. Okay, so there we are with that. But I just want to explain to you the workings of it a little bit more. And you can mull it over. So, well, anyway, I want to get right into it. Let's not mess around. Try to not waste too much time. I want to show two things here. And let's compare the two. Daniel 8:13, you know this, but let's read it again. That I heard one holy one speaking and another holy one said to the certain one who is speaking, and go talking back and forth, how long will the vision be concerning what? This is what I need you to see. How long will be the vision concerning the daily and the transgression of desolation? The daily being taken away, the giving of both the sanctuary and the host to be trampled underfoot. That I'm going to get in my next documentary. Now notice he's talking about the beginning of the daily here and in Revelation 12. But he's talking about what we think is two different times. So let's finish this up. And he says, for 2,300 days, and then the sanctuary shall be cleansed. That's in the documentary as well. That's a mind boggler. 2,300 days is tied right into the beginning of the daily taken away. Right here. So, when we see 2300 to 1290, we automatically think this is two different times when it's one and the same. It's just the 2300 is in Daniel 12 is broken down deeper by the angel. Here he says this from the time of the daily and the abomination of desolation, which is the shots, the vaccines, the mark of the beast, till it basically ran its full course, would be 2300 days. And he says times and a half. Half of 2300 days is 1150 days. So for March 11th, when the WHO declared the beginning of the official announcement of the pandemic and it started the lockdowns right away, exactly one half of 2300, 1150 days later, on May 5th, 2023, they declared the end of the pandemic. One half to the 24-hour day. That is irrefutable evidence. And serves as evidence that we have March 11th as the right starting day and confirmation this is the daily. I mean, it's right there. You know what I'm talking about, right? You see? But these church pastors out here and all these internet gurus are trying to mess with everybody's minds. And we're trying to get this thing settled. But now that we have that, it happened, it took to the end of the 1290 days, because the 1290 days started with that. There's a reason why 1290 starts at the same day, because it's still the same 2300 days, it just split up. There's a pattern going on, and Daniel kept asking, I don't understand it. I'll show you more. He didn't understand it because the angel says, steal it to the time of the end. Why? Because Daniel, you have to actually live in 2020 to be able to get it, Daniel. That's what he's saying. You have to actually live while it's happening, or you can't understand it because it's sealed till the time of the end. So no wonder he couldn't understand it. But the angel breaks it down. There we see the 2300 is with the beginning of the daily. Now, let's get to my verse here. Won't take me long. But now notice, as I showed in Revelation 12:11, March 11 and 12, and from the time that the daily, the word sacrifice is not there. From the time that the daily lockdowns, the daily life, daily routine, daily employment is taken away, and the abomination of desolation is set up. Meaning, it doesn't mean. It means from the time it ran its course and is set up worldwide that all who was going to take it basically took it. The abomination of desolation is the vaccines, the mark of the beast. There should be 1,290 days. Now, from the same exact time as the 2300, the 1290 is also from that time too, because it's the same time period. It's just now the angel is breaking it down because Daniel kept asking, I don't get it. He says, Daniel, it's sealed to the time of the end. Just know that at the end there's going to be 1290 days. But then he says, blessed is he who waits and comes to the 1,335 days. So here's what someone asked me, that Kenneth, that don't make any sense. It does. When you meditated on it, you know what I'm saying? All right, here's how it goes. And I'm going to bring this up in my forthcoming documentary. Then it should make more sense. So I'm not trying to impugn anybody. I'm just telling you, and I think you'll appreciate this. You have to mull it over because most people haven't heard these things before. And that's the church's fault. They're the ones that let the truth run amok. They crushed it under, being trampled underfoot. Wow, that's in the documentary as well. So, this is the question. Well, 1,290 and 1,335, that's more than 2,300 days, so the numbers don't match, Kenneth. No! The 1,290 begins with the same day the 2,300 began. Bar none. This is what I need you to see. Go back to Daniel 8. At the end of 2,300 days, not the end of 1335 or 1290, the end of the 2,300 days, then the sanctuary will be cleansed. This isn't about cleaning your kitchen and washing your dishes. It's a double-edged sword. It's twofold. Good for the Father's true people and really bad for the false teachers and the false believers. The old saying, it's time to clean house. Well, yeah. We'll get into that in the documentary. That's not for today. So the 1290 comes on September 22nd, 2023, and the 1335 began September 23rd, and the 1,335 days ends on May 19th, 2027, which is 11 months, give or take a day or two, 11 months past the 2,300 days. So I was told, well, Kenneth, your numbers don't match because 1335 goes past the 2,300. You can't fit both of them within it. You're not supposed to! At the end of 2,300 days, the cleansing of the sanctuary begins. Then, once that day is there, you got approximately a full year of cleaning the sanctuary after the 2,300, because now you're in a 1335 day period of reckoning. But it's not a full year, I was told. It doesn't matter. The numbers matter. We don't question. It's not exactly a full year, so therefore it's all false, Kenneth. No, the numbers are his numbers for his reason. I don't know why, but this is what the math says. The math shows it. It doesn't matter if we're off by a month. That does not disqualify March 11th. It cannot. Because that is the only day that the whole world was led into the worldwide lockdown, leading in to the vaccines, where they had to take the jab so they could go back to the normal life of buying and selling. And that's not, the buying and selling is not a one-size-fits-all rule. We're all lined up. Who's got the mark? The rest of you can't buy, and you're sitting there watching and monitoring everybody 24 hours a day. That's a bunch of baloney. That's church thinking. It's just they wanted to buy back and get life back, the daily life back to normal from what the lockdowns caused. They didn't want their lives continuously messed up. They wanted to end the quarantines. The only way to do it and stop COVID is get all these shots so we can go back to the normal life that buying and selling is the primary foundation of it. In debt from birth to death type thing. That's all there really is to it. That's why he says rich and poor, free and bond, because it didn't matter if he was a movie star, a football player, politician, or a guy sweeping the streets. He says no matter what your stature is in life, not every last single person had to have something you can't buy or sell. Because some people weren't affected. Their bosses says, I don't care. While I was working, my boss said, he didn't take it. He says, no, I don't care. Good. Other people, they had to quit their jobs. And other circumstances applied. It's not a one-size-fits-all rule. But anyway, that being said, so then we got after the 2300, the rest of the 1335. Blessed is he that waiteth and cometh to and through the 1335 days. To what? What is this last period of time after 2300, starting with June 26, 2026, when the 2300 ends? What's that about? And I said in my video, June 26 and 27. There's all sorts of 26s and 27s. And he's just making a point. June 26 is when the 2300 ends, but I checked ahead of time and boy, smack on the money. It's the 27th of the Hebrew month, but 26th on America's June. He's trying to tell us with 26 and 27 that from 2026 to 2027 is a year of reckoning, and that it finishes up the 2300, which he can cleanse the sanctuary. So what is this cleaning the sanctuary all about? I'll get into that in my documentary. Oh, there's a lot. So you can go to, I brought it up in the documentary, Isaiah 34, the year of recompenses for the controversy of Zion. It says, Zion, thou art my people. The year of recompenses. That's literally a year. It's not symbolic of a decade or a period of time. That is a year of time. Even if it's 11 months or whatever. We just trust the math on this. Not, well, you're off a month or you're wrong, Kenneth, it doesn't match. Forget that part and focus on March 11th, count, and then trust the count. Trust his numbers. For whatever reason, he's doing it. Because from the get-go, exactly 2,300 days fell exactly half fell right smack on May 5th, 2023, when they declared the end of the pandemic. Right to the day. Now, if that matched up perfect, why wouldn't the rest of the counts match up? This was written thousands of years ago. You see the beauty in that? This is to encourage you. It's to lift you up. Not like this black guy out in the South Africa says it. Rapture on September 23rd. And nothing. People sold their cars, quit their jobs, gave their money away. Now they're broke. Because they listened to a guy in South Africa that says he met Jesus face to face. When he says, they say, lo, I am here, lo, I am there, or oh, they met me here, met me there, do not believe it. And what did people do? They believed it. So I'm not saying that. I'm just giving you the dates. It doesn't mean exactly on June 26th he starts it. It just means he has to wait by his prophetic word till the time period is over, and anytime he can start it. I'm thinking he will, but just like eclipses, they come and then a little bit later it starts. I don't know. I'm not trying to get your hopes up in the wrong way, but I'm telling you this count is right. It is correct. It is the only day it can start from. But it doesn't mean we quit our jobs and give everything away, and don't you do anything like that. Nothing like that. Keep going up until he knocks on your front door. But that's how he makes sense of this. The count is correct. It is the day of March 11th, the lockdowns, making it the pandemic. It was who that started it, and it was the who that stopped it. There we have it. There's your count. The count is correct. I still got some people that, not those you email me, I'm talking about some others, that really don't like the way I put it, but I'm sorry. It's the truth. There is no other day you can find anywhere, especially something for the first time ever that affected the daily life of the entire planet, just like Revelation is showing. Come on. We haven't had any such day ever since March 11, 2020. In history. That's the day. And he said it would be in the last days. I'll go more over my documentary, Daniel 8, dealing with the king of fierce countenance and some others, and our side, cleaning the sanctuary. Approximately a year to begin cleaning house. This is what he means. Isaiah 42, you'll cry like a woman in travail. What all these weather patterns going around the world, going absolutely nuts. Earthquakes, cyclones, and fires. But then he says in the same chapter, then he stands up like a man of war. Now it's time to clean the sanctuary. Elsewhere in Isaiah, 2 different places, I'll clean the filth of the daughters of Zion. Zion shall be redeemed with judgment, and her converts with righteousness, cleaning the sanctuary, but also kicking out those who aren't his, the foolish virgins in my documentary, where they will say, Lord, Lord, open to us. He says, I don't know you. So showing up to a place of safety, think we got it made, we're picking around doing nothing for 3.5 years is baloney. We're going to boot camp and we got work to do. You weren't trained for nothing. So the further ahead you are now on this side, the easier it is in Zion. Because it is going to be training central when we get there. And right from the get-go, we have to be finished up in our training, but he's going to start cleaning house. However he's going to do it, I don't know all that. I just know the basic general theme, and nobody can go beyond that. But he's going to clean house. He's going to straighten up the mess. I'll set the crooked things straight. I'll lead you in a way you had not known. Isaiah deliver the prisoners from the prison house of darkness, on and on. All these prophecies that has not come to pass starts with the end of this 2300. Cleaning the sanctuary is not just sweeping the floor and we're ready to go. We have to be cleaned of all of our false doctrine. Me, you, everybody. Ain't none of us got it all right, or the kingdom would be manifesting right now. There's our proof. But I showed you this shortly. The proof that both 1290 and 2300 is starting from the same day. And it did. They're the same time period. It's just it's split up into two other numbers. But yet the 1335 goes past the 2300 by almost a year, because that period of time of him doing something about it. That's what I'm seeing. But we gotta wait. What was it, 8 months? Seven or 8 months to June. So that's still kind of a considerable amount of time. Really isn't in prophetic words, but doesn't mean things don't hit before then. I'm talking about the part where he cleans the sanctuary. He might have to go through a time of trial before then. That's possible too. We don't know yet. But anyway, I thought I'd bring this up and try to illustrate this. That we got to get our focus and our hopes up. Now it should be an encouraging thing for those who are really his, that it's almost here. Because I'm telling you, this count is right. The starting date is right, and the daily is the lockdowns. Every meaning of daily and taken away is lockdowns. It's daily life. I want to show you something. Hold on. Before I close this out, show you one verse. Let me get to it here, flipping. After Daniel gets this vision, this big vision of 2300 days, which is the same thing as Daniel 12, he and everybody wants to know what it is. All these centuries, no one can figure it out, because at the time of the end, now we can figure it out. Not that I'm showing it to you. He's showing it. But notice something. And I meditated on this and thought about it. And this is what pops in my head. I'll let you decide what you think about it. But something strange happens. At the end, after he's heard this 2300 day vision, in verse 27, you had verse 26 and 27, and the vision of the evenings and mornings was told was true. Sealed the vision, for it refers to many days into the future, the last day. But notice this. And I, Daniel, fainted and was sick for days. Afterwards, I arose and went about the king's business. He went back to the daily. He went back to doing normal business, everyday life. I was astonished by the vision, but no one understood it. Now, it makes me wonder. You would think getting a vision this big, you'd be under some sort of magnificent blessing. But instead, he's sick. Makes you wonder, why would that be the case? Wouldn't y'all have just made sure he wasn't sick? Maybe he was made to be sick. Are you thinking like I'm thinking? Why would he be sick? Here he's talking about 2300 days that begins with daily being cut off, leading to the abomination, the shots. What happened? Daniel gets sick. What happened when the daily lockdowns came? Was there not sickness of the pandemic of COVID? Was he getting sick in Daniel's day to show us that the daily is not animal sacrifices or anything else? Was he being made sick as some sort of hidden clue that his being sick is a reference to the COVID lockdowns? Being sick is what the daily is. Now that's my thought on it. Could be wrong, but boy, it sure does sound like it. I'll leave that up to you to decide, but I'm going to keep this short and get back to work. Don't know how long this documentary is going to take. Trying to get ready for winter, trying to get at least a couple weeks of firewood to burn for the winter. Some's better than nothing, so just stick with it. And you probably saw my video, probably thought it was extreme, my Marked by the Beast video. That actually, some free app shows up. I said, it's just another one of those trial things. Well, actually, it gave me one anyway. So I put in a few words, like 15 words, and that song, AI made that, and the words. And every bit of it is perfect for what I wanted. I didn't even know I wanted it, but once I heard it, it's like, this is perfect. It says it like it is. So I know that video is a little dramatic. When you think about it, that's how serious it is. So that's AI. AI does better. For crying out loud. At least in this case. But I'm going to work on this documentary and I'll show you hidden Antichrist. It's time to put a stop to this business. Well, there ain't no Antichrist and there can't be a mark. It's the other way around. In that was the first and second Thessalonians, Paul was talking about he sits at the temple as Yahweh. He's talking about believing the lie that he might be damned, blah 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 blah. That's the abomination. It's the shots. But in the same chapter that the son of perdition will be revealed. People are waiting to find out that it's the mark because they gotta have the Antichrist first. No, we were supposed to find the mark of the beast first, and then we'll be able to spot the beast. It is the other way around in this case, because that's exactly from 2020 what the facts bear out.